Hello everyone, waving hand. Today, I'll continue telling you the story of a young woman named Lai Tu-san. Clapperboard sparkles, I hope you enjoy the video. After some time starting a new life in the small house that her ex-lover, Tu-san, had quietly received help with from CEO Hai, she and her son gradually found a steady rhythm again. The house, which was once empty and messy, had slowly become warm and organized day by day. Each morning, sunlight streamed through the window, shining onto the small wooden table where mother and son shared breakfast, a simple yet hope-filled scene for a fresh start. Though he never said it aloud, Hai was always silently watching over and helping Tu-san. Sometimes, while she was away, he would drop by to fix small things, change a light bulb, tighten a door hinge, or clean up the backyard. Other times, he would quietly leave a few freshly laid eggs in the kitchen before slipping away. Each time, he left a little note on the table with a few warm words. Don't skip breakfast. The kitchen light has been fixed. No worries now. It's getting cold today. Make sure your son doesn't catch a cold. These small notes, though simple, carried such genuine care that they often left Tu-san silently moved. Once the house was tidy and stable, Tu-san decided it was time to take charge of her new life. She couldn't rely on others forever. She wanted a stable job to support herself and her son. After days of searching, she finally got a position as a waitress at a local beer restaurant near the town center. Although she wasn't used to the noisy, crowded environment, she greeted each customer with a bright smile and patiently learned the ropes. She told herself this was her first step toward rebuilding her life, a small step, but one that was truly her own. During her very first shift, while serving beer to a group of young men, trouble arose. They began teasing her, and when they tried to force her to drink, though she couldn't, she awkwardly refused. In the scuffle, a glass of beer spilled onto one customer's shirt. He immediately stood up, furious, shouting insults at her in front of everyone. Her face flushed red with embarrassment, and her hands trembled. He even demanded compensation for his shirt, making the whole restaurant tense. At that exact moment, Hai happened to be in the corner of the restaurant meeting a business partner. When he saw the commotion and recognized Tu-san, he didn't hesitate. He strode over firmly and spoke in a calm but decisive tone. This is just a misunderstanding. I'll take care of it for her. Under everyone's surprised gaze, he pulled out his wallet to pay for the damages and said a few tactful words to smooth things over. The group of young men, though still grumbling, eventually sat back down. Tu-san, overwhelmed and teary-eyed, stood frozen in shock and shame. Hai gently placed his hand on her shoulder and said softly, "It's okay. Everyone faces hiccups when starting something new. You did well." His eyes held a quiet tenderness and unwavering support, as if telling her that no matter how hard this new life got, he would always be there, silently by her side. Driving home that night, Hai sat in thoughtful silence behind the wheel. The passing streetlights cast shifting shadows on his face, mirroring the turmoil in his heart. The image of Tu-san, confused yet resilient, replayed in his mind, making his heart ache. Back then, why did you really leave me? Years had passed, but that question remained unanswered. Their love had seemed so deep, so strong. Then one morning, she disappeared without a word, leaving only a few cold lines that he could barely believe were hers. He had searched for her, been furious, then slowly buried that pain to move on. But seeing her again today, fragile yet strong, ripped open that old wound. If you hadn't left that year, would our lives have been different? He wondered. Back at the little house, Tu-san quietly opened the worn wooden door. The silence inside weighed heavily on her. This was supposed to be a new beginning, yet because of one small incident, she had already lost her job. The manager's scolding and the customers' judging stares still echoed in her ears, making her feel utterly defeated. She placed her bag on the table and sank into a chair, tears streaming down her face. All her effort, all her hopes, seemed to vanish in a single afternoon. When she lifted her head, she noticed a covered plate on the table. Inside were a few simple dishes, some boiled eggs, slices of braised pork, and a portion of steaming rice. Next to it was a neatly folded note in a familiar handwriting. "You're probably busy again today. Don't skip dinner. Make sure you and your son eat well. H." Reading those few lines, her heart tightened. She knew it was Hai. He was always like that, never loud or flashy, just quietly appearing at the exact moment she needed him, like a steady anchor she had once tried to forget. She sat there for a long time, eyes fixed on the note as memories flooded back, regret, guilt, gratitude, and a flicker of emotion she dared not name. "Hai, do you still care about us?" she whispered, her heart swelling with indescribable feelings. The next morning, Tiu-san woke up early, her heart still carrying traces of the sadness from the day before. She decided not to go job hunting anymore. Instead, she stepped out of the house and followed a small path leading to the forest near the valley behind the town. The fresh morning air and the dewdrops still clinging to the leaves seemed to gently wash away some of her worries. As she ventured deeper into the woods, she unexpectedly came across a sunny clearing filled with wild cherry silverberry trees, cherries heavy with ripe fruit. The bright red, juicy berries hung in clusters, looking almost as if they were inviting her to pick them. A sudden idea flashed through her mind. "I could pick these and sell them at the market, earn some money and stay independent." Without hesitation, she rolled up her sleeves and skillfully climbed the trees to pick the berries. Her movements were quick and confident, her eyes sparkling with a simple hope. Before long, she had a large basket full of fruit, which she brought to the market. The naturally ripened, clean berries attracted many curious shoppers. By the end of the short morning, she had sold every last berry. The money she earned wasn't much, but for Tiu-san, it was the first joyful step on her journey toward independence. She stopped by the meat stall and carefully chose a small piece of fresh pork to cook dinner for her daughter. A warm, peaceful feeling filled her heart. It had been so long since she last felt in control of her own life. "As long as I keep trying every day, my daughter and I will be fine," she whispered, smiling softly. Meanwhile, at a small cafe across town, Hai sat deep in thought with his longtime best friend, someone who had witnessed all the highs and lows of his life, from the time Tiu-san left to when he became a successful CEO. "The way you look at Tiu-san hasn't changed one bit," the friend said bluntly. "If you still love her, why not just be honest with her? Staying silent like this will only hurt both of you." Hai gripped his coffee cup lightly, his eyes flickering with hesitation. "It's not that simple. She left me once. I don't even know if she wants to hear anything from me anymore." His friend sighed, shaking his head. "Then at the very least, she deserves to know the truth. She should know that the house she's living in actually belongs to you." Hai fell silent. His eyes drifted toward the sunlight filtering through the trees outside, as if gazing at a distant memory he wasn't ready to relive. He didn't want to make her uncomfortable, nor pressure her. More than anything, he was afraid she might leave again. Without waiting for Hai's decision, his friend Don took matters into his own hands. That afternoon, he went to Tiu-san's house. She was busy cooking dinner in the kitchen, her hair tied up neatly, her face glowing with quiet peace after a productive day. Don hesitated, then said, "San, there's something I think you should know. The house you're living in, it actually belongs to Hai." The words struck like a bolt of lightning out of a clear sky high voltage. Tiu-san froze, the ladle in her hand suspended midair. Her eyes widened in shock. What did you say? This house belongs to Hai? In that moment, a flood of memories rushed back, their passionate love, the afternoon strolling along the river, his gentle hand holding hers, and his promises of a shared future. She vividly remembered the warmth and sincerity in Hai's eyes that used to melt her heart. Her vision blurred. She slowly sank into a chair, clutching her chest as if to hold back the emotion surging within her. If it hadn't been for Mother's pressure, maybe I would never have left you, she whispered as tears rolled down her cheeks. Back then, her mother had fiercely opposed their relationship due to her own personal ambitions. She wanted Tiu-san to marry a wealthy man to save the family from debt. Young and helpless, Tiu-san had made the most painful choice, leaving the man she deeply loved without a single explanation. That decision had left a wound in both their hearts that never truly healed. Ever since he witnessed Tiu-san being scolded and losing her job at the beer restaurant, Hai had been restless. He knew all too well how risky and toxic that environment could be, full of traps, gossip, and judgmental eyes that could easily hurt her. That morning, sitting in his office, he found himself unable to focus on the pile of documents in front of him. On impulse, he picked up his phone and called Tiu-san's sister-in-law, someone who truly cared about her. His voice was warm but slightly hesitant. "Hi, it's Hai. I need a small favor. I heard San's been working at that beer place, and honestly, I'm worried. That environment isn't right for her. I know a friend who's hiring a sales and accounting assistant for an agricultural products store. The job is stable, clean, and safe. Could you please talk to her for me? Convince her not to go back to that bar." On the other end, her sister-in-law was delighted. She hadn't liked the idea of Tiu-san working at such a place either, so knowing someone was willing to help brought her relief and gratitude. "Don't worry, Mr. Hai. I'll drop by her place this afternoon. If it's a good job, she'll definitely be happy." That afternoon, when Tiu-san returned from selling berries, sweaty but radiant from her successful morning, her sister-in-law arrived. She sat down on the little wooden chair on the porch, smiling brightly. "Sister San, I've got some good news for you today," she announced excitedly. Tiu-san, curious, quickly wiped her hands on her apron. "What news?" Judging by that smile, it must be something nice. One of Mr. Hai's friends is hiring a sales and accounting assistant for an agricultural shop. It's a stable job with fixed hours, much safer than working at that beer place. He asked me to talk to you and convince you not to go back there. It's too complicated and doesn't suit you. Hearing this, Tiu-san was stunned for a moment. A warm, indescribable feeling rose in her heart. She hadn't expected Hai to still be quietly caring for her like this, even worrying about her job. Her sister-in-law's gentle words touched the part of her heart that had endured so much pain. "Really? That job, it's real?" she asked, her voice trembling with emotion. "Of course it's real. Mr. Hai told me himself. He even said if you agree, someone can come for a quick interview as soon as tomorrow." Tiu-san sat quietly for a while, her heart swirling with mixed emotions, surprise, gratitude, and a touch of shyness. Then, a rare gentle smile appeared on her face after so many difficult days. "If that's the case, that's wonderful. I've been wanting to find a stable job so I can take better care of my child. Thank you so much, truly." Her sister-in-law beamed and cheerfully patted her shoulder. "I'm so happy for you too. From now on, you won't have to struggle in those complicated places anymore. Make sure you grab this opportunity, okay?" In that moment, a warm feeling spread through the little house. After so many storms, life seemed to finally be opening up a new path for Chu San, simple, but full of hope. Somewhere else, Hai received a short text message from the sister-in-law. I've talked to San already. She's really happy. Thank you. He leaned back in his chair, a faint smile curling on his lips, a smile of quiet relief and gentle joy. He didn't need her to know the truth, just seeing her life gradually improving was enough for him, at least for now. While Tu San's days were beginning to settle into peaceful stability, elsewhere Lin, Sun's lover, was growing increasingly anxious, as if sitting on a bed of burning coals. For weeks, she had been pressuring Sun to finalize his divorce with Tu San so they could get married quickly and register her name in Sun's household. Lin didn't love Sun deeply, she saw in him a solid source of financial security and the stable future she desperately wanted. You keep saying the same things but do nothing. The divorce isn't done, the wedding isn't planned, the house isn't settled. How long do you expect me to wait? Lin snapped during a phone call, her voice full of irritation. On the other end, Sun sighed wearily. I'm working on it, please, just give me a little time. This kind of thing can't be rushed overnight. No. I don't want to hear any more promises. Lin cut him off sharply. I need you to make a decision. If you keep hesitating, I won't wait any longer. A seed of doubt began to sprout in Lin's heart. She suspected Sun might be wavering, perhaps because of his daughter, or worse, because of Tu San. To find out the truth, one afternoon Lin secretly went to the neighborhood where Tu San lived, pretending to be just passing by to observe. From afar, through a half-open window, she saw something that made her freeze in shock. Sun's daughter, little Lin, was playing happily in the small yard with Tu San. The two looked so close and joyful together, their laughter echoing through the narrow alley. The scene pierced Lin's heart like a knife. She frowned, feeling a rush of unease and jealousy. She clearly said they had nothing to do with each other anymore. Then why is the child here? Is Sun hiding something from me? She muttered through clenched teeth, her eyes narrowing with cunning. Without hesitation, Lin took out her phone and called a mysterious man, her ex-lover, a sly figure with a shady past. Her voice lowered, laced with calculation. I just found Sun's daughter at Tu San's house. This isn't good. If this goes on, I'm afraid Sun might change his mind. If he brings the girl back to live with him, their father-daughter bond will grow again, and all my plans will fall apart. The man on the other end let out a low, mocking laugh. So what do you want me to do? Speed things up for you? Lin stayed silent for a few seconds, then nodded, her gaze turning cold and determined. Exactly. I can't let everything slip through my fingers. We have to act fast, before he changes his mind. I'll meet you tonight to discuss the plan in detail. That evening, in a dimly lit cafe at the end of a narrow alley, Lin and her ex-lover sat facing each other, whispering as if afraid of being overheard. On the table were scattered papers, several photos of Sun with his daughter, and pictures of Tu San in front of her small house. We need to corner Sun, Lin said, her eyes glinting with malice. We have to make sure he has no way back to his ex-wife and daughter. Once the divorce is finalized, I'll have my rightful place, and that house. The man grinned wickedly. You're a lot shrewder than you look. All right, let me think, maybe we can use the girl herself to push Sun into a corner. Lin's lips curved into a cold smile. In her mind, a dark plan was beginning to take shape, a plan that could shatter the fragile peace Tu San had just started to rebuild. Tornado.
Xin chào mọi người, rất vui được gặp lại mọi người trong video của mình. Thì hiện tại kênh của mình đang kể về câu chuyện của cô gái mang tên Lý Tiểu San. Và Lý Tiểu San sau khi rời bỏ người chồng phụ vô và ngoại tình, thì cô đã được CEO Hải là người yêu cũ của mình giúp đỡ tìm một ngôi nhà mới, và cuộc sống của Tiểu San và con của mình đã dần đi vào quỹ đạo. Nhưng những biến cố sắp tới xảy ra với Tiểu San sẽ ngày càng nhiều, vì chỉ có một mình phải nuôi con nhỏ nên gặp phải rất là nhiều khó khăn. Liệu Tiểu San có vượt qua được những khó khăn ấy hay không? Mời mọi người đón xem ở những video tiếp theo nha. Hy vọng rằng câu chuyện mình mang tới cho mọi người sẽ góp phần làm cuộc sống mọi người vui hơn mỗi khi xem video. Cảm ơn mọi người đã xem hết video hôm nay của mình. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại mọi người.